What's up everyone, this is Rob from Up Next MMA. Today we're continuing our list of the top 10 most famous UFC fighters. If you did not have a chance to check out our last video, where we talked about the first 4 fighters on this list, I highly suggest you do that right now. You can always come back to this video later, it's not going anywhere. It will definitely add some context as well as clarity to this video. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about Anderson the Spider Silva. Formerly the UFC middleweight champion and pound for pound king, Anderson boasts the second longest title reign in UFC history behind Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. He first debuted with the company with an epic 49-second knockout over middleweight standout Chris Lieben. Anderson Silva would then go on to fight then champion Rich Franklin for the middleweight title. Silva knocked out Franklin within the first round, which marked the beginning of a historic run in the UFC. The iconic Brazilian secured a supreme 16 consecutive victories and 10 defenses of his title during the late 2000s and early 2010s. During this time, Anderson Silva was regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. The only other fighters that Silva did not look absolutely dominant against were two people that we know very well, actually. Chael Sonnen and Dan Henderson. He went on to beat Chael Sonnen twice and Dan Henderson in comeback victories, and he finished both of them. Spider is regarded as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, and he is a god in his native land of Brazil. He's still looked at as a pound-for-pound great, and the UFC regards him as such. He's gone on to have television appearances, to being featured in documentaries. His fame has transcended into different areas of the world as well as media. From one former pound-for-pound great to another, George St. Pierre is easily the most popular fighter to ever come out of Canada. George St. Pierre's epic title run at welterweight includes defeating the likes of John Fitch, Thiago Alves, Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz, Matt Serra, Matt Hughes twice, Dan Hardy, Jake Shields, Josh Koscheck, then lightweight champion BJ Penn, and Johnny Hendricks. During this epic run, many saw GSP as the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter behind Anderson Silva, who we just talked about. George St. Pierre retired as champion in November of 2013, only to come back nearly 4 years later at UFC 217 to defeat Michael Bisping for the middleweight title. He became a 2-weight UFC champion after both welterweight and middleweight title victories. He would go on to retire again with the belt shortly after the fight due to health issues. GSP is personally my favorite fighter of all time because he blended technique, fight IQ, speed, timing, and overall athleticism all together in a perfectly well-rounded package. It was an absolute joy to watch him fight. The Canadian was an extremely popular athlete among fight fans, both in America as well as his native homeland. While he's still remembered as one of the top MMA competitors in history, GSP has gone on to do movie appearances like his fight scene at the beginning of Captain America Winter Soldier, as well as promotions for big brands such as Under Armour. He is a legend in Montreal and other areas of French Canada where he's from, And people continue to look at Georges St. Pierre as a model for how MMA champions conduct themselves with the utmost respect and calmly mannered and well-spoken figures of the sport. Now, let's talk about another pound for pound great, Jon Bones Jones. Jon made his UFC debut back at UFC 87 in August of 2008 when he was only 21 years old against Andre Guzman. He really shined in his next bout against UFC legend Stephan Bonnar at UFC 94. He laid an epic beating on Stephan Bonnar for 3 rounds. Jon would continue his onslaught on the light heavyweight division, beating the likes of Jake O'Brien, Brendan Vera, Vladimir Musevchenko, and Ryan Bader. He had a DQ loss in the middle of that to Matt Hamill. But does anyone really count that? No. He bludgeoned Matt Hamill damn near to death using the stupid 12-6 elbows. It's ridiculous that that's even still a rule. But anyway, then Jon stepped in on 5 weeks' notice to fight Mauricio Shogun Rua for the title in March of 2011. He decimated Shogun in 3 rounds, and Jon clinched the light heavyweight title and became the youngest UFC champion in history. The American has gone on to rank as the modern pound-for-pound great. Throughout his reign as champion, he has beaten the likes of Quentin Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, and we're talking about Vitor when he was on TRT Vitor, that Vitor, Chael Sonnen, Alexander Gustafsson twice, Daniel Cormier twice, Ovince St. Preux, Glover Teixeira, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and Dominic Reyes. That's one heck of a list. Many would argue Jon Jones is the best fighter to ever do it, and I would not argue against those people. His rivalries with Daniel Cormier, Rashad Evans, and Alexander Gustafsson really helped propel his stardom. And he really did transcend to a casual fan base over the years just purely because of his dominant performances. Unfortunately, his mistakes outside the octagon have largely overshadowed his accomplishments over recent years. He may not be the most popular name amongst fans anymore because of his controversial life, but he's still arguably one of the most famous fighters. Not the most famous, but one of the most famous. He's rarely ever out of headlines, and Jon still brings dominant performances to the octagon. Now let's talk about one of his biggest rivals in Daniel Cormier. Just kidding, guys. Daniel Cormier and the last few fighters on this list will have to wait until our next video. Sorry for the tease. I just don't want this video to run too long. I really do appreciate all of you for watching until the end. If you're new here, please be sure to drop a like if you like the video, as well as subscribe and smash the notification bell so you know whenever we have a new video coming out. We usually have 3 videos coming out for you every single week. Let us know what you guys think of GSP, Anderson Silva, Jon Jones, what you think of their legacies and accomplishments. I always get different answers when it comes to Anderson Silva and Jon Jones. Obviously they've had their run-ins with USADA that's kind of tainted their legacies a little bit, but many people, including me, still look at them as pound-for-pound greats. I still think Jon Jones is the best pound-for-pound fighter ever. But compared to guys like GSP, GSP is my favorite. No blemishes on his resume at all. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of their overall legacies and their accomplishments and, their mishaps outside the cage? Let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys and hear your opinions and discuss. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.